How's it going, everybody? It's that time where we got a lot of new characters in the game. We got to start talking about replacements for our Dark Dimension 6 recommended characters, if you will. Now, I think I got a good beat on this, as a lot of these characters we're going to be talking about, they're nice, they're cheap, the uniques are very spread out, and they're going to be very influential characters in all different game modes. So if you are on the hunt for a Skrull, this video is going to be the one for you. Make sure you check it out. Leave a like, share, and subscribe to that video. Let's jump into it right now. Alright, so let's start this off just by talking about the characters that I'm going to suggest, talk about why they are that guy that you should bring, and then at the end we'll talk about uniques and more places where these characters are going to kind of have that longevity. Alright, so starting with Apocalypse. Like, if anyone is telling you not to bring Apocalypse, that person just doesn't like you for some reason. I don't know what you did to them. Maybe you slapped their mom at the dinner table, apologize, and tell them to stop lying to you, okay? So Apocalypse is that guy. He's the second best character in the game. It doesn't matter if you only have a small Apocalypse, you still want to bring Apocalypse. You'll just open up a special, you give yourself offense up, and then you'll ult with an offense up. It's fine. You're going to survive till that second turn because of the other characters you're bringing in, no matter what, okay? Apocalypse is a must bring because he does flex, and you could use him in 2 different sections to kind of trivialize that section. You need Apocalypse. You don't need him. You want him. You're kind of dumb if you're forcing yourself not to take Apocalypse. Chase, thank you for the sub, my friend. All right, then we got Gambit. Now, Gambit did get himself a nice rework with the Extreme X-Men team. So he's going to have extra benefits in Crucible because of those rework stats, doing more damage. He's going to be able to sap that efficiency from the enemy, and if you are just getting Skrull now, I'm going to assume you're not a big spender, which means you're not going to put a lot of money into a new character like Nightcrawler. So if you are a big spender, you're just joining the game and you're on the hunt now, you'll probably make that swap. It's the same unique, it's the same cost, but I think for the majority of players, if you are on the hunt for Skrull, Gambit's going to be the guy for you. He also does in-between damage to help Apocalypse get the job done. The section is the Apocalypse show. Let's not get it twisted. All right, then we got Weaver. Weaver is cheaper than Quicksilver, who would be the counterpart that you would take instead. She is Mystic. She costs 66 pieces total, but she does have that molecular cloth. We're going to talk about kind of how to min-max your uniques if that is something you're struggling with later on in the video. Then we got Doom. He is an 88 piece, but he is split between Tech and Mystic. It's kind of weird. When we first started DD6, if you started then, it was like a really big Mystic crunch. Now, Mystic isn't so much the crunch, so bringing in Doom is kind of an okay thing to do. He's 2 Mystic, 2 Tech. He'll help activate your Apocalypse to get more work done in the nodes, but also we're going to need to build him up for Dark Dimension 7 anyway, so you're kind of jumping a few steps here. Doom is more of a kit-based character, so it's not going to feel great in the other game modes when you take him out here, but you're going to find that having him survive something like a Skrull basic because of gear tier 18, and then he can ult, might actually be the winning blow in a Crucible or War attack. We got Juggernaut now, and I know a lot of people didn't go super hard on Juggernaut. You didn't buy him. He was an expensive character, free to play, got 2, maybe 3 stars on him max. That's okay. Like, he's in here, he's going to have Taunt on spawn, he might die right away, he may not take a single turn through your entire Dark Dimension journey. But if you had Apocalypse beside him and you have a big boy Apocalypse, well, Apocalypse is going to get hit, do the retaliate, then he's going to ult, having that offense up, which he wouldn't have otherwise had. So I do find there's value in Juggernaut. Also, I know that Juggernaut is eventually going to be farmable. Like, I don't personally know when, but eventually, maybe next Halloween. But even then, he's still going to be that guy in War. He's still going to be an amazing character, and having him gear tier 18 now at 3 red stars will help you kind of experience how awesome he is in War immediately, without the stars. So I do think Juggernaut has a lot of value, especially if you enjoy War. If you don't enjoy War whatsoever, I think there's actually a great replacement with this guy right here, this Shield Trooper. Yeah, just use absolutely zero gear tier 18. It is going to cost you some shield tech, which goes along with Orchestral, but honestly, global is the Apocalypse show, which is why when I say, if someone's telling you not to bring Apocalypse, that person probably doesn't like you. You probably did something to hurt them. And they're trying to get back at you, okay? It's the Apocalypse show. It is what it is. You might need to do 9, 10 hits per node. It doesn't matter, because if you're just starting Global now, it means you're going to be waiting to start Cosmic, or waiting to start City, or waiting to start Legendary. It doesn't matter. You're going to be waiting. So don't kill yourself. It's the Apocalypse show. All right, the rest of the characters are just good elsewhere. Cosmic, we got Photon. Now, Photon would probably be the second person kicked off of this list, if you wait for Hive Mind to come out. So there was a leak blog post that came out showing that Void Knight, the Silver Surfer symbiote, he's going to be a cosmic character. He's going to be bio. If he costs as much as Photon does, I would say that... Thank you, Ceci, for the 5 gifted subs. I would say take in Void Knight instead, simply because he's going to be part of that raid team, and because Photon, she's... Let's be real. Doctor Strange is not part of Secret Defenders for 99% of the gaming people. If you do use him, he'll be the first kicked off, but for other people, Photon is the first kicked off the unofficial Secret Defender team. In Arena, especially with Nightcrawler being released and people getting Skrull, you know, Photon is not on that team. In War, she kind of comes off that team for A-Force, which is actually a good thing. It's actually a benefit for that because she makes that team so much better. And in Crucible, if you're doing the Secret Defender Skrull team, that's great, but I see a lot of people are now trying to throw in Thanos there as well, or they're throwing in Noir and Skrull. They're doing a lot of things to try and mix and match that possible defense up. So Photon does lose a little bit of value, but she's cheap and she's bio, so she's a very good option nonetheless. And let's be real, Secret Defenders are going to have the same longevity Infinity Watch had. They're going to have the same longevity Darkhold is experiencing right now. They're so fast, so much turn meter manipulation, so much you can't turn meter rewind us. It's going to be a very long-lasting team, so having Photon built up will be good. Speaking about, you know, time-resistant characters, we got Kang, the Master of Time himself. With his offense up speed bar, just a brilliant character. He has a very niche use in War right now. He can be used with Doom to take out Nowhere teams. He can be used with Tangled Web to take out Infestation teams. 2 very high demand counters that are needed. So having a big Kang is great, and that doesn't speak his use in Crucible, right? Also, in the actual Dark Dimension node itself, he can take a lot of turns. Very helpful, damage, turn meter rewind, defense down slows. He's just a great character. You're going to want to take Kang for sure. Then there's Vol. She is kind of the queen of her raid team, but more than anything else, she makes the cosmic nodes bearable. Before you get Skrull, Val rezzing everybody, it's just very, very powerful, rezzing 2 people. The damage she does, the expose, amazing character. I would strongly recommend taking her, even though she doesn't really need it to excel in raids. And in War and Crucible, she's kind of a dud, unless there's a room that benefits her. But I still think she's a no-brainer. She only costs 3 pieces too, which is nice. Alright, Kestra, with her rework, she is now the queen of her raid team. She is now a powerful plug-and-play character in Crucible. She's an amazing puncher in War as well. That Pegasus team, if you have them completely built up, can be very difficult to deal with. No-brainer character, and she is also going to be one of the characters we can bring to Dark Dimension 7. There's no downside to bringing Kestrel. All right, then we got Stitcher. Now, Stitcher, the reason I wanted to bring him is because he's Gamma, and he only costs 1 tech piece, which was kind of, we had a little bit of abundance of tech pieces that were not being allocated. So I do think Stitcher could fit that role. But if you want to bring a real character in instead for Cosmic, I think there's a lot of great options. If you do get to use your Sorcerer Supreme, your Doctor Strange, I actually do like him as well. He's a Mystic, he costs 2 pieces. I personally like to use that team, but if you're in a hardcore alliance, you know, you're going to be putting Skrull with that team on defense or doing something with that team on defense, and Doctor Strange doesn't get played, and if he's not on his team, he doesn't get played at all. So some other alternatives. If you are if you really like Crucible, Thanos in that room 3 right now is good, but that is a limited time offer. Icarus is an amazing character. If you don't bring him to your trade team now, you probably will later. But just note that no matter what you do on the second run, you're going to be bringing Skrull in. All right, so that's why I kind of err on the side of bring in Stitcher, simply because he's cheap, he's tech, he doesn't conflict with anybody else's unique, and you don't really need anybody else. It's these 3 pieces right here, the Kang, Val, and Kestrel. They're going to carry you through this section. Will you one-shot those nodes unless you bring like somebody more beneficial than Stitcher? No, but you don't need to be racing through these nodes on your first run. It's just unnecessary. All right, for City section, now City got the most revamped since the release of the Secret Defenders and now the Superior 6. City is actually a very, very fun section right now. So I suggest bringing in Lizard and Kraven. The Superior 6 team is amazing in War, amazing in Crucible, a super fun team to play, and the added benefit that they only cost 3 pieces each, and their origins are very friendly. So we have Bio and we have Skill, which is very, very nice. Not much else to say about them, amazing characters. Then we have Hardlight and Robbie. Unlike Photon, they will not be replaced from their team. And if they are, Robbie is going to go flex somewhere crazy with his on-bleed speed bar. I think Robbie Reyes probably has the most plug-and-play longevity in him on this team with his buff flips, his ability block, the speed bar that he gets. His passive doesn't even need his team. He's an amazing character. So yeah, these two I think are no-brainers. Hardlight, she doesn't do much here in DD6, but she's a cheap mutant option, which is nice. And what she brings on her team, the tankiness, it's okay. So yeah, I think Hardlight is good enough to get the nod to come in here. Then we have Firestar. Now, Firestar has a special place in my heart. She's a cheap mutant option, which I think is actually very nice. And she is a Crucible Goddess. Oh my god, the amount of damage that she can do is insane. So I really do like taking in Firestar here. She would be the first person you would sub out for a different option. Say if you wanted Vulture, because you wanted to bring a tech character in. Or if you maybe wanted, I think Mysterio is also, but Mysterio costs 110, so don't do that. But also, you might want to wait for Hive Mind to come out, because Hive Mind is going to come out, and Gwenum is going to be a bio character, which we're a little light on the bio here. She will be a bio character, and she is set to be City. Now, we say that that was a leaked blog. Maybe that's going to be changed. I don't see why Gwenum wouldn't be City, but I don't know. I really like Firestar, and I really, really enjoy having her gear tier 18 in Crucible and War. All right, then for the legendary section, I don't think this one is going to catch anybody off guard. We have the 3 newest legendaries, so Black Cat, Goblin, and Nova. It's just fortunate that their 2 uniques are great. They're not conflicting with anything. Nova, on the other hand, is that I forget what it's called. It's not Obsidian, Osmium. So we're gonna talk about that here in a couple seconds. Omega Red is great because he's Carbon. He does percentile damage. He's a great plug and play character. He's kind of starting to fall off, though. He's a little bit of a necessary evil. I don't think we're getting more legendary characters anytime soon, so he does kind of fit the bill. You might as well pull the trigger and get him done now. Then there's Nick Fury. He's the leader of the Invader team. With the new difficulty of the raid coming, we're not sure if the Invaders are going to hang, but if they do, it's going to be because of this guy, all right? He's also going to be able to give your team speed up, get you a bunch of taunts. He's going to help you get through those nodes. Not that I put much value in getting through those nodes quickly. These teams will get through the nodes very quickly because they're just that good at characters. But I don't put that much value on that when I talk about characters I recommend for DD6. I'm thinking past Dark Dimension 6. I'm thinking of War. I'm thinking Crucible. I'm thinking Arena. I'm thinking Scourges, Towers. I'm thinking all of that. And so Fury would actually fit that build really well. You're going to want him to live. You're going to want him to do his buffs. You're going to want those minions to hit super hard. So Fury, even if the Invader team doesn't work, he still has that plug-and-play value. The downside is he's 110 skill cost, but we're pretty light on the skill, as you'll see when we talk about our full amounts. And then for the Legendary or Apocalypse, all we're going to do is we're going to take out Fury. We're going to slap Apocalypse in there. You can also take out Omega Red, but I just really like that percentile damage. Those are the characters that I would bring. So here's a little list that I built up just so we can talk about their uniques and their actual costs. So you'll see that on the far left, we have the Osmium. We do have 3 characters that eat Osmium. Val, I don't think is replaceable. Nova, I don't think is replaceable. He's very good plug-and-play value in Crucible. He's a one-man wrecking crew in War. Gambit, now I don't think Gambit needs to have the gear tier 18 to be a monster in raids and a monster in Crucible to sap efficiency. So this is where you would start trying to look for a different option for your global team that doesn't eat up that Osmium. So we have a couple good options. We talked a little bit about the Trooper here. He's just going to be a shield tech character, but there's other great options. We have the Quicksilver, who's going to be Chromium, right? We're going to have Zombie Iron Man, who costs 3. He's Chromium as well. You don't really need the gear for him, but I think that having that team built up makes him future-proof. We have somebody like Tiger or Titania, who I don't know off the top of my head, but I don't believe either of them are Molecular Cloth or the Osmium. Someone in the chat, if you could check that for me on the Tiger and the Titania. So you have a lot of other good options. Sunspot, not so much because he is Astral. That'll conflict with Apocalypse and Icarus if you decide you want to bring Icarus in. And he doesn't really need it either. So if we wanted to replace somebody, it would definitely be Gambit from that list, unfortunately, to save on the Osmium. And the same thing with the Molecular Cloth. So we have Weaver needs it, Photon needs it, and Kraven needs it. Honestly, the first person I would sub out if I needed to save a Molecular Cloth would actually probably be Weaver. And instead, I would be bringing in the Quicksilver. But if you already subbed in Quicksilver in lieu of Gambit, then that doesn't really help you much, right? So then if I wanted to sub out, say, Photon instead, then I can maybe just wait and see what Void Knight's unique is going to be and go from there. So we're going to have some options, especially if you're not in these sections yet. But yeah, having 3 people share the same unique, I know is very tough for people, especially if you're the type of person who's still trying to get your big boy apocalypse done, you need to get those characters gear tier 17, because you gotta remember, Morgan also eats up some of these osmium, and I'm sure we have some molecular cloth in there on the other horseman characters as well. But yeah, if I wanted to sub somebody out, the first one would be Gambit on the osmium track. The first one on the molecular track would probably be Weaver or Photon if Void Knight comes in and he is as cheap as Photon is. All right, then we got the Miasma, Robbie Reyes, and Doom, both idiot. I think it's fair. Okay, so Tiger is Carbonadium. Thank you. So Tiger would be a good mix in there instead of the Gambit, or instead of Weaver, if you will. And that's just going to share one person over here with the Omega Red. All right, the Miasma, Robbie Reyes and Doom. I think it's okay to have two characters using the same uniques, especially if the rest of our list is shared with nobody. I think is great. And that's a 66 cost and 88 cost, respectively. We have the Kestrel, who's going to be using that shield tech. Titania is Weave. That would be shared with Firestar. So again, that would only be overlap of 2. So I think those are very good replacements. Thank you, DZ, and thank you, Tommy. If you were to bring in the Shield Operative, then that's obviously going to share with Kestrel. I don't think that's a problem. Stitcher is going to be using that Gamma, but if we wanted to say we wanted to bring in Doctor Strange instead, well, he's Promethium. He's going to cost 44. That's going to add a little bit to our Mystic, but not too much. So I actually do like Stitcher. Just, again, not sharing a unique with everybody is very nice. Omega Red, Carbonadium. So if we're going to bring in Tiger, it's only going to be 2 people sharing it. That's good. We have the Black Cat. I forget what this is called. Luminium or something like that. So Black Cat taking that is fine. We got the Oz formula for Green Goblin, also 66. We have the Infinite Energy for the Juggernaut. We have the Serum, which has another unique name for Fury. I forget what this purple rock is. So you can just see it's nice and spread out with the exception of the Osmium and the Molecular Cloth. Now those, unfortunately, they're just 2 very high demand uniques. So if you're struggling with that, those are some substitutes that you could probably take into account. All right, so let's look at the overall cost, the overall spread. So I had the unique and Gear Tier 18 cost pieces on there, but if we scroll all the way up, we can see the total of what we're using here. So bio, we're on a little bit on the light side. So we're using 220 bio, and then it's actually spread out very evenly. So we got 330 on the Mutant, 286 on the Mystic, 308 on the Skill, and 308 on the Tech characters. So it would be nice if we can get this bio up, which would be very easy if we were to take out Stitcher and throw in Void Knight when he comes, right? Or if we were to take out Firestar and throw in Gwenem when she comes. So if you're not in those stages yet, those areas yet, you can go ahead and hold off and throw in those new Hive Mind characters when you unlock them. Are they going to be super useful in Dark Dimension 6? Who knows, but they will be super useful in the raids, so you get benefit from you there. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this little conversation on Dark Dimension 6 and the characters that I would suggest going in there to unlock your scroll. If you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Stay happy, healthy, have fun, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now. That's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Stay happy, healthy, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one.